to another episode of the Off the Fine podcast. This is Jack, joined by my co-host Trid, and coming to you on a lovely Tuesday in March, and coming to talk some ball. Trid, how you doing over there?
Doing great. We got a episode full of some Western Conference action where it's spiciest. Kind of missed out last week, but we're here to bring you some content today. I'm fired up. It's almost playoff time. We're getting down to the last stretch here. So let's get right to it, man. Let's talk. We talked about them earlier this year, but the talks are heating up. Let's talk Beam Team. Let's talk Sacramento Kings.
Yes, the first quarter of our episode tonight is all Beam Team. We're going to Sacramento, out in the Wild West. Let's have you start. I have a little fun fact about the Kings that I want to bring up, but we can start with kind of somewhere where you're going with it. What do you think about the Kings?
Well, I want to talk about. So last week when I wanted to touch on it more, when a lot of podcasters are touching on the subject more, I think the Kings were sitting at 2 pretty comfortably. Now they're a game behind the second seed. Actually, Memphis moved up. So Sacramento's sitting at 3 seed right now, but still very comfortable in the top 3, sitting at 43 and 28. I just want to talk about, is there a road where the Sacramento Kings can get to the conference finals? I don't know. All year we're like, is this team legit? Can they sustain the success? Can they hold their seed? And they've been playing great basketball all year. Best offense in the league. I think the second best offensive rating of all time, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't quote you on that, but yes, that's correct.
I believe that's
You're quoting me, actually. I said that last episode. So yeah,
I believe Boston still holds the best offensive rating ever, if I'm correct.
No. The Kings own the best. Kings own the best. It's the Nuggets that have the second best.
Got you. Okay. Because I know Boston early in the year had a record-setting pace that was just insane. Obviously, they slowed down, but yeah, how do we feel about this Kings team in the playoffs?
No. I'll give you the answer. I think there is 1,000% a path for this team to make it to the conference finals. The hardest part of this path, I think, is going to be that first round. I think that first round is what it's really going to be. I think this team has not been to the playoffs before, outside of Harrison Barnes, who's the only player on the team that has any playoff and finals experience. This team, that's just what happens. Young teams, when they get to the playoffs, they either rise to the occasion or they fall apart. And I think if they can get through the first round of the playoffs, if we look at the standings, could be Golden State, could be Dallas, could be Minnesota, any of those teams. If they're able to get through that first round matchup, I would have a lot of confidence with them keeping it rolling, whether that's against the Grizzlies in the second round and being able to make it to the conference finals. So I think if they can get past the first round, I think that's how I feel.
Yeah, that first round matchup, it could be a total just grinder of a first round matchup too, whether they play Golden State or the Timberwolves or Dallas. Either way, you're playing a team that's got some more playoff experience than you do, and you might have those first round jitters. But just overall, they play great on the road all year, which is really unprecedented for a young team to be doing. And they've taken care of business against these good teams. De'Aaron Fox looking like an all NBA second team lock.
Sabonis right there with him.
Oh, no, we don't know about the whole positional situation here with Sabonis yet, which is really weird. He's on box scores. You see, it looks like he's listed as a 4, but he obviously doesn't play the 4. Keegan Murray plays the 4. But is Sabonis a true center? Whole nother discussion.
He's third team. We'll get the different episode.
Yeah. But second team talent this year. That's disappointing. But De'Aaron Fox has literally just been so good this year. Just especially in the clutch. I think he's almost 200 clutch points. The next guy down is Jimmy Butler with 140. And I watched that Bulls game 2 days ago. Maybe even last week by now,
I
but
think it was last week. That was a killer. That was a
I was like, get the ball in his hands, get the ball in his hands. And like De'Aaron just pulls up, single covered. Pat Williams rotates late and just drains the game winner. Like dude, he's so fast. He can get to any spot. He gets to the spot so fast, and he's just become impossible to contain. And I mean, Sabonis is literally just like a Jokic Jr.
yeah. I
Like
think
whether he's gonna bully you in the post or just find the open man. I mean, there's been a rebounding machine this year too. I mean, and then you'll get like in a span of like whatever the series is, you'll get that random 30-point game from Malik Monk, and like Harrison Barnes will randomly get you 20 every other night, and it'll just play good enough defense.
Keegan's on pace to break the rookie 3-point record as well. So, I mean, you got shooters. This team is littered with shooters. You got a big man in the post that can bruise and can pass. This team is fun to watch. I mean, like they are the true epitome of offense. I don't think there's any championship aspirations purely because they don't have that. They don't have defense. They don't play defense, and that is what's going to stop this team when it comes down to a Western Conference Finals matchup. Is they don't have guys that can stop someone else's best player, and that's like the ultimate worry.
But like in terms of like how far they can make it, like going to like the conference final, I think they're like plus 3,300 to go to the conference finals or something like that. But I mean, like you look at the rest of the West, and it's just like it's so shaky. Like, I mean, we'll talk about them later, but like this Golden State team, I personally just don't believe in this year. Dallas has just, I mean, Luka and Kyrie are just struggling to stay in the court right now, and they're still trying to find chemistry. That's not really, they have not looked good together. The Wolves, I mean, we don't even know what Karl Anthony Towns situation's looking like. I mean, apparently he's coming back this week. Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant's gonna be like getting like into his first games with Phoenix, like in the playoffs, and they have to kind of like figure out that whole situation.
Which they will. I'm not worried about Phoenix. I'm not worried about Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm just like,
I'm not worried about Phoenix.
Clippers have finally started picking up the pace.
Yep.
They look really good when they look good. But there's just so many inconsistencies in this Western Conference where you have a team like Sacramento has been consistent all year. And then the big thing is too, these other teams don't really have identity. The Kings know who they are. They know what they're strong at, and they do it really well. It's shooting and scoring. They know they're not a defensive team, so they're gonna push and play at the pace they want to play at. And I mean, that's like sometimes when it really comes down to like those championship teams is like does this team have an identity? Does like every player on this team know their role? With Sacramento, I feel like you built that culture. Mike Brown probably win Coach of the Year too. I mean, he'd be my vote if the voting started today. But then you do look at Memphis and you're like, shit, Ja Morant's back or about to be back. But even their whole identity, their whole situation is still just like they lost Brandon Clark for the year. I mean, I would even I don't have Memphis coming out going to the finals personally.
I don't. Losing Brandon Clark is just too big for them. They've like, if we count Brandon Clark, that's 3 players that aren't going to be on their team this playoffs that were there last year in the playoffs. And if we, Kyle Anderson, D'Anthony Melton, and now him, I still think Memphis is a team to be reckoned with into the future, but I think the Kings can take them to 7 maybe or 6 and take them out in the playoffs. I think De'Aaron Fox can guard Ja Morant. Like he can handle him, and they can go back and forth. I mean, Ja can't play defense. I do have a fun fact. So the Kings have the longest current playoff drought in all the 4 major sports, right?
Yep.
I don't know if you've heard that. Pretty crazy news. So let's see, in this other thing, they've clinched their first non-losing season since 2006. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that 2016 Trig, first and only bit of trivia I have on this episode for you.
Who was on that team?
Who's on that 2006 Kings team?
Is Mike Bibby on that team?
Mike Bibby is the point guard and captain of that
Okay.
team.
Okay, Mike Bibby's the point guard. C Webb wasn't there, right? Or was he
Nope.
gone by then? He's
C-Web's
gone.
gone. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Dude, the 2006 Kings. Is Kenyon Martin randomly one or Kevin Martin?
Kevin Martin. Yep. Kevin Martin
Yeah,
is
okay. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Okay.
starting two
Was
guard.
he the shooting guard? Okay.
Yep. That's when he was averaging like 20 points a night with his
Yep.
his push shot. So you got the starting point guard and the shooting guard. There's
I don't know. It seems so random. Was Ron Artest on that team at all?
Ron Artest is the small forward on that team.
Okay, there's no way I'm about to get the 2006 Sacramento Kings starting five right now. This is actually an iconic moment. Who's the four though? This is where I'm gonna get stumped. Oh my god, I feel like the five is like some big European fucker.
So the four is a player that I have not heard of. So
is it like
I've never even heard of this guy's name. I'm just gonna tell it to you because I don't even think you know who it is. His name is Kenny Thomas.
Okay, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah, okay, so but there's two other guys on the team that you would know. He's a center.
And then European.
He's not European, he's American.
Okay.
And then the other guy is a player that was the starting three but got injured, and that is why Ron Artest ended up becoming the starting three on that team. So there's two other guys. If you can throw in the flag whenever you want.
Just giving me. I for time's sake.
So that original starting three that got injured was Peja Stojakovic.
Whoa, no, that's the one I should have gotten. Oh my god,
should have gotten Peja.
How did I not get that? Oh my gosh, that's the one. That was the most obvious one. I feel like.
And then the center, I think, played for the Timberwolves and the Bulls after this stint, but Brad Miller.
Brad Miller. Oh my. Okay. Yeah, Brad Miller was the center for the Bulls when Derrick Rose's rookie year.
Yep. So there's that little bit of trivia. Thought it'd be fun. But yeah, I think that concludes our King.
Okay, I think if I would have like thought about it more and tried. I think I could have got at least Peja. Brad Miller, I would not have remembered, but I remember like.
I don't know.
Brad Miller, I remember who Brad Miller is.
I don't know how you got Ron Artest over Peja. That was the one that I
just had like this gut feeling. I'm like, why do I feel like Ron Artest like had a King stint? I just had this gut feeling deep down.
Well, let's jump into the second quarter of tonight's podcast.